Have you ever felt fear so deep it froze your breath? Not because of danger, but because of doubt? The kind that creeps in when no one's watching, whispering that you'll fail, that you're not ready, that you'll never be enough. It's a quiet kind of fear, one that doesn't scream but drains you from the inside out. You try to push it away, distract yourself, act strong, but it lingers. It waits, and when you're alone, it finds you again. You tell yourself it's normal, that everyone feels it. But deep down, you know this isn't just fear, it's control. Fear owns you more than you want to admit. What if you could stop it, not just manage it, not just pretend, but truly silence it, until fear no longer decides what you do, what you say, or who you become? Imagine your mind steady, calm, unmoved even when the world shakes around you. That's not a fantasy. It's a skill, one mastered centuries ago by those who understood what most people never will, that fear doesn't live in the world. It lives in the mind. And if you can master the mind, fear becomes nothing. The Shaolin masters learned this through pain, through discipline, through silence. They faced the storms of the body to understand the storms of the mind. To them, fear wasn't an enemy. It was a mirror. It showed them where the mind was weak, where illusion replaced truth. They didn't run from fear. They observed it. They studied its shape, its voice, its tricks. And in doing so, they discovered something extraordinary. Fear loses power when you stop believing its story. You've heard fear's story your entire life. It's in every hesitation before you speak your truth, every excuse before you take a risk, every moment you stay silent when you should have stepped forward. It tells you to wait, to prepare more, to protect yourself from pain. But here's the truth. It's not protecting you. It's trapping you. Because fear doesn't care about your safety. It cares about your control. It wants you small, predictable, contained. It wants you to live inside the limits it creates. But the mind doesn't have to obey. Shaolin Way begins with awareness. The moment you notice fear, you are already one step above it. You're no longer the puppet. You're the observer, the one who sees the strings. Breathe in deeply. Right now, feel the air fill your lungs. That single breath, calm, controlled, intentional, is the first rebellion against fear. Because fear thrives in chaos, in shallow breath, in racing thoughts. But the moment you pause, the illusion cracks. The mind is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Every thought of fear is an opportunity to build strength. When fear says, "You can't," the Shaolin say, "Watch me," not through arrogance, but through mastery. They understand the mind's power to shape reality. If the mind is clouded, life feels impossible. If the mind is clear, nothing is beyond reach. You've spent years trying to control the outside world, chasing security, approval, perfection, when the only battle that ever mattered was the one inside. The Shaolin masters knew this. They trained not to conquer others, but to conquer themselves. They practiced stillness until the storms in their minds became calm seas. Not because life stopped being hard, but because they learned to move through it without drowning. And here's the secret they live by. Fear can't survive in awareness. When you bring your full attention to this moment, your breath, your heartbeat, the space you occupy, fear dissolves. It cannot coexist with presence. The past is gone. The future isn't real. Fear lives in both, but never in now. The masters return to now again and again until fear has no place left to hide. So ask yourself, how much longer will you let fear lead? How many chances, dreams, or truths will you trade for a feeling that isn't even real? You have been conditioned to see fear as danger, but it's not. It's a teacher showing you the edges of your comfort, the borders of your courage. Every time you face it, those borders expand. Every time you breathe through it, your mind sharpens. You are not meant to live half alive, waiting for courage to arrive. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's your willingness to walk beside it. That's the Shaolin path. Not to destroy fear, but to understand it so deeply that it no longer rules you. To stand still when your mind trembles. To breathe when the world rushes. To see clearly when illusion screams. Because once you master your mind, nothing can control you again. Not fear, not doubt, not failure, You become untouchable, not because life gets easier, but because you finally understand who you are beneath the noise. Calm, focused, free. You've already felt what it's like to live under fear's shadow, to wake up every day fighting thoughts that weren't even yours. You've carried doubts that were planted long before you ever questioned them. But now something inside you has shifted. You've seen a glimpse of what's possible when your mind is clear. And once you've seen that truth, you can't go back. The world doesn't change first. The mind does. Once your mind breaks free, everything else begins to follow. Most people never reach this point. They give up right before the breakthrough, because the closer you get to freedom, the louder fear screams. It doesn't want to die. It wants to pull you back into the comfort of your old limits. It whispers, you've come far enough, but you haven't. You're only now beginning to see who you could be without fear's voice controlling every move you've been walking through. Life half awake, letting invisible walls decide how far you'll go. Those walls aren't real. They're made of hesitation, of memories you didn't heal, of beliefs that never belonged to you. The Shaolin understood that to master the mind, you must first see its patterns. Every thought is a seed. Every emotion is energy waiting for direction. You can let that energy trap you, or you can turn it into strength. That's what mastery means. Not control through force, but command through awareness. The mind obeys the one who watches it, the one who no longer reacts but chooses. That's the moment you stop being a prisoner of your own thoughts. Right now, your mind is testing you. It's asking how bad you want peace, because peace isn't given. It's earned through confrontation, through discipline, through sitting with discomfort until it loses its power. That's where transformation begins. Not in avoiding pain, but in understanding it. Pain and fear are the same teacher, wearing different masks. Both are trying to push you toward awakening. Most people run from them. The few who don't, those are the ones who rise. You've been told that courage is about being fearless. It's not. Courage is the choice to act while fear still lingers. To move even when your mind trembles. The Shaolins say, the warrior's calm is not born from safety, but from self-mastery. It's not the world that changes, it's the way you stand within it. The storms still come, but your foundation no longer shakes. There's a moment when you stop running and face everything you've avoided. The failures, the regrets, the words left unsaid. That's when power returns. Because what you face, you free. The energy you've spent hiding from fear becomes the energy that drives you. That's why the masters don't fight. They flow. They let fear rise and fall like a wave, untouched, unharmed. You can do the same. Breathe. Don't resist. Observe. That's the gate to clarity. And once you step through, you begin to realize how much of your life was shaped by illusion. Fear told you to wait for permission, to play small, to blend in. But you were never meant to live quietly. You were meant to move with precision, speak with truth, live with intent. Fear doesn't disappear. It transforms. It becomes focus, energy, awareness. Every time you breathe through it, you reclaim a piece of yourself that was lost. You are not weak for feeling afraid. You are human. But you become powerful the moment you stop identifying with fear. It's not your fear. It's just a pattern of thought passing through you. Let it pass. Watch it fade. What remains is who you really are. Steady, unshakable, awake. That's the essence of the Shaolin mind. Not empty, but deeply alive, fully aware of every moment, yet untouched by chaos. Now the choice is in front of you. You can return to the noise, to the same habits, the same fears, the same story, or you can walk the path of mastery. It won't be easy, but it will be real. Every breath will remind you that control isn't about force, it's about presence. The more present you are, the less power fear has. That's how the masters live. That's how peace becomes strength. You don't need to escape your mind, you need to understand it. And once you do, you realize there was never anything to fear at all. The storm was never outside, it was always within. And now, finally, you have learned how to stand in the center of it, calm and unbroken, while the world around you bows to your stillness. You've stood in the center of the storm, and for the first time, you didn't run. You felt fear's grip loosen, its voice grow weaker. But this is where most stop, right at the edge of awakening, because now comes the real test. Freedom isn't something you find once and keep forever. It's something you earn every single day. The mind will try to pull you back into old rhythms, into the comfort of chaos, into the noise that once defined you. It will disguise fear as logic, doubt as caution, hesitation as wisdom. Don't listen. That's not your truth. That's the echo of a mind afraid to let go of its own limits. You have to rise above that echo, rise not with anger, not with force, but with awareness so sharp it cuts through illusion. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you build a new kind of strength, the strength that cannot be shaken. The Shaolin call it inner stillness, but it feels like fire and silence at once, a calm so deep it becomes power. You don't need to shout or prove or chase. When your mind is clear, your presence itself commands attention, because peace is magnetic. The truth is, you've always had this power. You've just been trained to forget it. Every system, every fear, every failure was designed to make you doubt your own potential, to make you seek strength outside yourself. But no one can give you mastery. It's born when you stop running from your mind and start listening to it. Not the fear, not the chaos, but the still voice beneath it all, the one that's been waiting for you to finally hear it. That voice doesn't speak in noise, it speaks in knowing. It says you were never broken, you were never behind. You were simply learning how to see, and once you see, you can't unsee. You start noticing the patterns that used to control you, the moments when fear disguised itself as comfort, the people who mirrored your own doubts, the habits that kept you numb. You start to realize that every obstacle was a teacher, every pain a lesson in disguise. That's the awakening, not light without darkness, but awareness so complete that even the darkness becomes sacred. You begin to understand what the masters meant when they said, the mind shapes reality. Every fear you feed becomes a wall. Every truth you accept becomes a door. You decide which ones to open. You decide which version of yourself walks through them. The world bends to the focus of the disciplined mind. Not because it changes, but because you do. And when you change, everything responds. But awareness alone isn't enough. You must act. You must live as the master of your mind, not the victim of its noise. That means taking the step even when fear returns. It means holding the silence even when chaos demands reaction. It means trusting that you already have what you've been searching for. Fear loses its grip when you stop needing certainty. The masters move through life without demanding control, because they know control is not freedom, presence is, and presence is what makes you unstoppable. When you act from stillness, fear cannot touch you. It will try, but it will pass through you like wind through an open field. Because fear only feeds on resistance, and you have none left. You've seen through its illusion. You understand now that fear was never here to destroy you. It was here to awaken you. It showed you where you were holding on too tightly, where you weren't yet alive. So now, you move differently. You breathe differently. You carry silence inside you like armor. Every challenge becomes training. Every doubt becomes fuel. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are shaping it through your awareness. And in that awareness, fear has no home. There will still be storms. The world will still test you. But you will not break. You will not bend to the old patterns that once defined you. You will watch, breathe, and move with precision. You will know what the Shaolin have always known. Mastery isn't about defeating fear. It's about becoming the space where fear cannot exist. So keep walking. Keep breathing. Keep your mind clear, your heart steady, your awareness sharp. Because once you've touched this kind of power, once you've felt the silence within the storm, there's no going back. You've crossed the threshold. You are no longer the one controlled by fear. You are the one who commands the mind, calm, focused, infinite. There's a moment when silence turns into power, when you stop looking for signs and start realizing that everything you need has been inside you all along. You've reached that point, the edge where the old version of you begins to fade and something greater starts to emerge. But this transformation demands everything, your honesty, your discipline, your surrender. Because the mind doesn't change through comfort, it changes through fire, through the heat of awareness so intense it burns away everything false. And what remains is truth, pure, untouched, unbreakable. You've seen what happens when you let fear lead. You've watched it shrink your world, silence your voice, dim your potential. But you've also seen what happens when you step beyond it, how stillness turns into strength, how clarity turns into power. Now you're being called to go deeper, not just to manage your thoughts, but to master them, to no longer live at the mercy of your emotions, to become the observer, the one who sees, feels, and chooses without being controlled. That's where true freedom begins. The Shaolin masters understood this truth with every fiber of their being. They trained not for perfection, but for presence. Every strike, every breath, every movement was a meditation. Because mastery is not about doing more. It's about doing one thing completely. When you give your full attention to this moment, fear loses its foundation. It cannot survive where awareness lives. That's why the monks trained until pain became peace, until effort became flow. They weren't fighting the body, they were freeing the mind. You can feel that same fire inside you now, the part of you that's tired of repeating the same patterns, tired of running from your own reflection. You've lived long enough inside hesitation. Every second you spend in fear is a second of life you never get back, and the world doesn't wait. Time doesn't pause until you're ready. You either rise now, or you fade into the rhythm of those who never tried. That's the cost of fear. It steals what could have been. But here's the truth most never hear. The moment you decide to stop being ruled by fear, your life begins to accelerate. Energy that was trapped in anxiety turns into movement. The noise in your mind turns into focus. The same fire that once burned you starts to light your path. That's why the Shaolin say, the obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. Fear isn't your barrier, it's your doorway. And you've already started walking through it. You might still feel it, the trembling, the uncertainty, the doubt. Let it be there. Don't fight it. Observe it. Because fear is only dangerous when you mistake it for truth. When you see it clearly, it becomes powerless. The masters faced fear not to destroy it, but to understand it. They knew that once you look directly at fear without judgment, it begins to dissolve. The illusion fades. What's left is raw awareness, clean, sharp, alive. That's your power. Once you taste it, you realize how blind you've been. You start seeing how much of life was dictated by reaction instead of choice. How many dreams were left untouched because you believed a voice that was never real. But now, you can't unknow what you've seen. You can't return to the smallness of yesterday. The door has opened, and every breath you take in this awareness pushes it wider. This is where you become dangerous, not to others, but to the lies that once held you down. Because a mind that cannot be controlled cannot be defeated. You start moving differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. You stop asking for permission. You stop explaining your purpose. You simply live it. And that quiet confidence terrifies fear. It doesn't know what to do with someone who no longer listens. You are no longer the follower of your thoughts. You are their master. And mastery is not about never falling. It's about never staying down. It's about returning to the center, no matter how loud the storm gets. You've learned that the world doesn't calm down for you to find peace. You become peace so the world no longer shakes you. That's the essence of control. That's the power of a mind that no longer runs from itself. So breathe. Feel that calm that rises from your core, not from your circumstances. That's real control. The kind no one can take away. Because once you've learned to face fear, to watch it without flinching, you've already won. You've become what the Shaolin called the unshakable mind, silent, focused, free. The war is over. The master has awakened. Now that you've touched the edge of mastery, you feel it, the energy that comes from seeing clearly, from standing in the eye of your own storm. But seeing is not enough. Awareness is only the first spark. Action must follow. Every thought you have, every breath you take, every choice you make from this point on shapes the reality that once felt impossible. The world will push. Life will test you. Old habits will scream to pull you back into the familiar chaos. But this is where you separate yourself from everyone who only dreams of freedom and never claims it. Fear will not disappear. It never does. But that's no longer the problem. The problem was letting it dictate your steps, letting it whisper false stories of limitation into your mind. You've dismantled that lie. You've become the observer, the calm in the storm, the mind that refuses to obey the old scripts. And now, you must take that power and wield it, not recklessly, not loudly, but intentionally. Every action now is a declaration I am not ruled by fear. Every choice now carries weight. Because a life lived under awareness is a life lived fully. The Shaolin did not train for recognition. They trained for control, for precision, for the ability to remain unmoved when the world demanded reaction. That same discipline is within your reach. You've already walked the inner path, now it's time to bring it into the world. The battles outside are echoes of the battles inside. Every challenge, every confrontation, every obstacle is an opportunity to practice what you've mastered in silence. You are no longer reacting. You are sculpting reality with focus and calm. That's how the mind becomes unshakable. That's how fear becomes irrelevant. Imagine living without hesitation, every step deliberate, every choice confident, every breath steady. Imagine facing uncertainty and chaos without flinching. That is the level you're capable of now. The world will resist because it is used to you being afraid. The mind will test you because it wants to cling to old patterns. But each moment you stand firm, each time you act from stillness, you grow stronger. You are building a life unbreakable from the inside out. There will be moments of doubt. They are inevitable. But doubt is nothing more than fear disguised as a question. Do not entertain it. Observe it. Let it pass. Because each time you do, you reclaim another piece of yourself. The energy that once fueled hesitation now fuels action. The space that once housed anxiety now holds clarity. You are no longer a vessel for fear. You are a conduit for strength, for presence, for unstoppable focus. This is not theory. It is practice. It is lived experience. Every breath you take in awareness is a blow against the chains that once bound you. Every action taken from calm, steady intention is a strike against the voice that said, "You cannot." And the world begins to respond. Opportunities arise, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your clarity attracts paths that were invisible before. Your courage invites outcomes that were unreachable. Your mind becomes a magnet for everything you've been waiting for. The stakes are higher now than ever, because mastery is not a destination. It's a commitment. A commitment to stand unwavering when chaos rages, to act decisively when doubt whispers, to hold your ground when life demands surrender. That is the unshakable mind. That is what separates those who live fully from those who merely exist. And it is yours. You've already felt the first taste of it. Now you must consume it fully. Let it flood every moment of your life until fear becomes nothing more than a shadow you walk past without noticing. So rise. Breathe deeper than ever before. Feel the power that comes from complete awareness. Let it anchor you, guide you, sharpen every thought, ignite every action. The path of mastery is not comfortable. It is not easy, but it is real. It is alive. And every step you take on it builds a mind that is untouchable, a presence that cannot be shaken, a life that fear can no longer dictate. You have seen what is possible. Now live it. Now own it. Now become it. You've tasted mastery. You've felt the stillness that fear cannot touch. But now the journey sharpens because mastery is not a moment. It's a force that demands movement. Every second you linger in hesitation is a second lost to the old patterns. The voice that once controlled you, that whispered doubt into every choice, is still there. It hasn't vanished. It waits for weakness. It waits for inattention. And the stakes have never been higher because you cannot return to the life you lived before this clarity. That life would be a betrayal of what you've just discovered, a surrender to shadows when you now know light exists within you. The Shaolin understood this truth. Strength without discipline is chaos. Courage without clarity is reckless. Presence without action is meaningless. You've built awareness. You've anchored your mind. But awareness alone will not change your world. You must carry it into every choice, every moment, every encounter. Every breath must remind you fear is powerless here. Every step must declare hesitation is irrelevant. Every thought must bow to the one who has learned to see clearly, who has trained the mind to stand steady when all else trembles. The world will challenge you. Opportunities will arrive masked as obstacles. Relationships will test you. Situations will force you into discomfort. You will feel the old panic rising, the old doubts returning, the temptation to retreat. Do not. This is the moment that separates the ordinary from the unshakable. To master your mind is to master the battlefield of reality itself. Nothing outside can move you once the inside is solid. Every challenge becomes training. Every test becomes confirmation. Every moment of resistance becomes proof that you are alive in a way few ever will be. You've carried fear for years, and you know its weight. You've known how it bends your spine, clouds your vision, steals your voice. Now, imagine moving through life without that weight. Imagine the clarity, the speed, the freedom of a mind, unbroken, untethered, unafraid. That is not fantasy. That is the consequence of the work you've begun. Each choice you make from this moment forward, each time you breathe and hold calm when chaos rises, builds a mind that fear cannot touch. That builds a life that cannot be shaken. The energy you once gave to anxiety now fuels precision. The attention you once wasted on hesitation now sharpens every move. Presence becomes power. Awareness becomes strategy. Every breath becomes a weapon. Every step becomes intentional. Every thought becomes a tool. You no longer drift. You move deliberately. You are the eye of the storm, calm while the world rages. And in that calm, you find what most spend a lifetime chasing: true control. This is where courage becomes more than a word. It becomes a practice. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to stand, to act, to thrive while fear whispers. The Shaolin walk this path every day. They do not pretend the storm is gone. They do not deny the chaos. They move with it, through it, and beyond it. That is the difference between existing and living fully. That is the difference between a mind that obeys and a mind that commands. You have already stepped past hesitation. You have already faced the mirror that fear once held before your eyes. The next step is relentless action. Every thought that would pull you backward must be replaced by presence. Every doubt that would slow you must be met with clarity. Every moment of inattention must be seized and turned into focus. There is no pause. There is no retreat. The path forward is total commitment to mastery, to awareness, to the unshakable force you are becoming. And when you live like this, the impossible begins to bend. Obstacles shrink. Challenges reveal themselves as opportunities. Fear becomes invisible. The mind becomes a field of power. And suddenly life is no longer a sequence of reactions. It becomes creation. Every breath, every choice, every action flows from mastery. You are no longer shaped by circumstance. You shape it. You are the calm in the storm, the fire that cannot be extinguished, the mind that cannot be broken. This is where you belong, not in the smallness of old fear, not in the hesitation of yesterday, but here, present, alert, unshakable, every step forward, every disciplined breath, every moment of clear focus carves the life that was always waiting for you. The world is waiting to see the force you have become. And if you do not move now, that force remains untapped. Rise, own it, live it, become it. You have reached the point where stillness has become strength, where clarity has become power. But now the true challenge begins, because mastery is not a final destination. It is a battlefield, and the battle never stops. The world will continue to test you. The mind will continue to whisper doubt, and fear will still knock at the door. The difference is now you are ready. You no longer answer with panic. You no longer obey the lies that once chained you. You act with precision, with intention, with a force that cannot be resisted. Every moment becomes a proving ground. Every breath, a reinforcement of the power that now lives in your mind. The Shaolin knew this. They did not reach mastery by avoiding challenge. They embraced it. They faced it in the body, in the mind, in every movement. They learned that fear is not something to be destroyed. It is something to be understood, to be used, to be transformed into fuel. Every heartbeat becomes a drum of focus. Every thought becomes a tool. Every action is guided by awareness so complete that the noise of the world cannot penetrate it. That is the level you are stepping into now. Do not underestimate the stakes. The mind that is not disciplined will always fall back into old patterns. It will obey fear. It will obey hesitation. It will obey the voice that tells you are not ready. But you have glimpsed a different reality. You have seen what life looks like when every action comes from stillness, every decision comes from clarity, every movement comes from presence. That is the life that is waiting for you. That is the life worth fighting for. And fight you must, because the window to become this version of yourself does not remain open forever. Every second wasted in fear, in distraction, in indecision is a second surrendered to mediocrity. The difference between those who live fully and those who drift is simple: action. Not action without thought, but action born of discipline, born of awareness, born of a mind that refuses to bend to chaos. That is what separates the ordinary from the unshakable. That is what you are becoming. Feel it now, the energy that surges when fear no longer commands your mind. The fire that ignites when you realize hesitation is a choice, and so is courage. The sharpness that comes when you see the world as it is, without distortion, without illusion. That clarity is lethal to fear. That presence is magnetic to opportunity. That focus turns every challenge into a stepping stone, every doubt into a test of your rising power. You have been trained your whole life to obey fear, to shrink, to wait, to accept limitation. And now, for the first time, you see how artificial it all was. You see how much of your energy was stolen by a mind that never belonged to fear, a mind that was meant for mastery. Every beat of your heart, every breath of air, every thought that passes through your awareness is reclaiming what was yours all along. You are stepping into a version of yourself the world has never seen. Do not pause. Do not hesitate. Every second you linger in old comfort is a second you lose the chance to solidify this power. The storm will come. It always does. But the difference is you are no longer afraid. You watch the storm. You breathe with it. You move through it. The chaos of the world cannot touch the calm you carry within. Every obstacle, every challenge, every moment of pressure becomes a mirror reflecting the strength you have always held but never recognized. This is your time. The mind you have trained, the awareness you have cultivated, the courage you have embraced. They converge now into unstoppable force. Nothing outside can move you because you have mastered the inside. You stand unshakable. You act with precision. You breathe with intent. And as you move through the world like this, fear loses all power. The impossible becomes possible. The uncertain becomes clear. The life you were always capable of living is finally within your reach. So step forward, step fully, step with the knowledge that the mind that is calm, focused, and aware cannot be defeated. Let every breath reinforce your power. Let every choice echo your mastery. Let every movement declare to the world that you are no longer controlled by fear. You have crossed the threshold. You are awake. You are alive. You are unshakable. And there is no force in existence that can take this from you. You have stepped into a new dimension of yourself where hesitation no longer dictates your path and fear no longer defines your limits. But the journey intensifies here. Clarity and awareness are not final rewards. They are weapons, and the battlefield is everywhere. Life will throw uncertainty, chaos, and resistance at you without pause. Old habits will claw at your mind, whispering comfort in retreat. But comfort is a cage, and you have already glimpsed the space outside. You cannot return. Every second of inaction now is a betrayal of what you have discovered, a surrender to a life that is smaller than the one you are capable of living. The mind will test you relentlessly. It will disguise doubt as caution, hesitation as wisdom, fear as necessity. It will try to pull you back into patterns that you have already transcended. That is why mastery demands vigilance. Every breath must anchor you. Every heartbeat must remind you of your power. Every thought must bend to the clarity you have cultivated. The Shaolin knew this. They faced pain, struggle, and fear not to escape it, but to understand it, to harness it, to transform it into movement, into presence, into unstoppable energy. That same power is within you now. The stakes have never been higher. Because the mind that is not mastered will slip back, and life will be lost to indecision and distraction. Every opportunity wasted, every step delayed, every moment spent in fear is time stolen from the life you are meant to lead. And time does not wait. Every second of awareness squandered is a second that could have been forged into strength. You are no longer someone who can drift. You are a force, a presence, a mind that demands its own reality. The world will test you, and now you are ready. Feel the energy surging through you, the fire that comes from facing your fear and refusing to obey it. This fire does not destroy, it illuminates. It sharpens the mind, it strengthens the body, it aligns every part of your being with purpose. Every challenge you encounter now is no longer an obstacle. It is proof. Proof that you are awake, that you are disciplined, that you are alive in a way that most will never understand. The world is not the enemy. Fear is not the enemy. The enemy is the mind that refuses to rise, the hesitation that refuses to act, the inaction that refuses to claim what is already yours. Do not be distracted. The power you hold is fragile only if you do not use it. Every moment you pause unnecessarily, every moment you allow fear to whisper, weakens the momentum you have built. The Shaolin teach that mastery is action married to awareness, not reaction, not passivity, deliberate, focused, unstoppable action. That is the path forward. That is the life you are building. Every breath, every thought, every movement must reinforce the truth. You are not governed by fear. You are its master. The world outside will continue to scream, to pull, to demand. It will try to overwhelm you with noise, distraction, and chaos. But your mind is different now. It sees clearly. It acts decisively. It stands unmoved while storms rage. Every choice is deliberate. Every action is a statement. You are no longer drifting in uncertainty. You are shaping reality through calm, through focus, through relentless attention to the present. Fear cannot survive here. Doubt cannot survive here. Only clarity remains. Only power remains. Only you remain. And in that truth lies a responsibility, a demand that you act. You have glimpsed what is possible. You have felt the power of the unshakable mind. You have experienced the freedom that comes when fear no longer commands your life. Now it is time to live that power, to embody it, to move through every challenge with the precision, awareness, and unstoppable energy you have cultivated. Nothing external can touch you now. Nothing internal can bind you. You are awake. You are alive. You are unshakable. Every moment is an opportunity to solidify that mastery. Every challenge is a chance to transform what once was weakness into unstoppable strength. You are no longer waiting for courage. You have become it. You are no longer hoping for clarity. You hold it in every breath. You are no longer seeking freedom. You are the force that commands it. The storm may rage. The world may resist. Fear may return. But you will stand, calm, present, and unstoppable. Because the mind that has mastered itself can never be defeated. The power you now feel is fragile only if you waste it. Every second spent in hesitation, every breath given to fear, is a second that could forge the mind into something unstoppable. You have reached the point where clarity and awareness are not luxuries, they are weapons. Every choice you make now, every action you take writes the reality that was always waiting for you. The world has not changed, the storms will not stop, chaos will not pause, but you are no longer subject to it. You are the calm at the center, the force that moves through turbulence without breaking. This is the edge where ordinary people surrender, the edge where they retreat into comfort and excuses. But you are not ordinary. You have glimpsed what it means to stand unmoved, to breathe deliberately, to act with complete awareness. That power demands more. It demands vigilance. It demands discipline. It demands relentless attention to the mind, to the breath, to the choices that define every moment. The stakes are higher than ever, because the mind will test you endlessly, whispering old fears, old doubts, old patterns, hoping to pull you back into submission. Do not listen, do not obey. This is your life. This is your power. This is the mind you have forged, and it will not bow to anything less than total mastery. Feel the energy rising inside you. The fire of awareness, the clarity of intention, the force that cannot be shaken. This is what happens when fear is confronted and refused. This is what happens when hesitation is replaced by action. Every heartbeat is a drum of power. Every breath is a reinforcement of your unshakable presence. Every thought is a tool, sharpened by discipline, honed by awareness. You no longer drift. You do not wait. You act. You are a living declaration of control. The world will push back. It always does. Obstacles will appear where you least expect them. Chaos will attempt to pull you into old patterns. People will challenge you, test you, try to rattle the calm you carry. But you are ready. You have trained your mind in stillness until fear cannot touch it. You have breathed through uncertainty until doubt no longer dictates your steps. You have acted in moments of hesitation until courage became instinct. Now, nothing external can control you. Now, nothing internal can break you. You are free. Every challenge now is a proving ground. Every doubt is a mirror reflecting the strength you have always held. Every trial is an opportunity to solidify what you have discovered. That mastery is not about absence of fear, but about unwavering presence despite it. That clarity is not the absence of chaos, but the ability to move through it with precision. That freedom is not given, it is claimed. Every breath, every thought, every action is a claim. You are claiming the life that was always yours to begin with, the mind that was always capable, the presence that cannot be shaken. Do not waste a second. The path is demanding. The journey is relentless. But the reward is beyond anything you have known. Imagine moving through life with complete awareness, every decision deliberate, every action aligned with purpose. Imagine fear as a shadow you pass without notice, hesitation as a memory that no longer binds you, doubt as a whisper drowned out by your clarity. That is the reality you are building now. That is the force you are becoming. The unshakable mind does not rest. It does not pause. It does not wait for the world to become easier. It meets the world head-on, calm, precise, unstoppable. Every moment reinforces it. Every challenge strengthens it. Every breath sustains it. You have crossed the threshold into this existence. You have walked past fear. You have faced doubt. You have trained the mind to become a fortress. And now, you live as the master of your own reality. Every step, every action, every thought flows from that mastery. Rise fully into it, breathe fully into it, move fully into it. The storms will come, they always do. But the mind that has mastered itself cannot be shaken. The presence you carry cannot be broken. The clarity you hold cannot be obscured. This is not a moment, this is a life claimed through awareness, forged in stillness, solidified in action. You are awake, you are alive, you are unshakable, and nothing can take this from you. You are no longer the person who feared the unknown. You are no longer the mind that obeyed hesitation. The moment you claimed awareness, the world shifted, but claiming it is not enough. You must live it, you must breathe it, you must let it flow through every cell, every thought, every action. There is no margin for half measures. Half awareness is just another form of bondage. The life you are capable of, clarity, focus, presence, freedom, demands total commitment, and the cost of ignoring it is everything you have dreamed of but never dared to take. The Shaolin understood this better than anyone. Their power did not come from physical strength. It came from mastery over the mind, from the discipline to remain present when every instinct screamed retreat, from the courage to move decisively when fear hovered. You have glimpsed that same strength. You have felt its fire, its calm, its unshakable presence. But you cannot stop here. Awareness without action is wasted energy. The fire inside you must be stoked, or it will fade into smoke. Every moment now must be a declaration of control, a proof of mastery, a reinforcement of the mind that refuses to be dominated. The world outside will resist. It always does. Chaos, uncertainty, people, circumstance, they will challenge you, test you, demand your attention. Old habits will rise. Old fears will whisper. The mind will attempt to pull you back into its old cages, to retreat into the familiar shadows. That is why vigilance is critical. Every breath must ground you. Every heartbeat must remind you of your strength. Every thought must submit to clarity. This is not optional. This is survival. This is the difference between living fully and living enslaved by your own mind. Feel the urgency, every second of hesitation, every instant of fear, every moment you surrender to distraction is a second the life you deserve slips further away. You have seen what is possible, the calm in the storm, the precision in movement, the clarity in thought. That vision is real. It is yours to claim. But claiming it demands relentless action, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient, now. Every choice, every step, every breath reinforces the mind that cannot be broken, that builds the presence that cannot be shaken, that solidifies the life that cannot be denied. The fire inside you has been lit. It is not small. It is not fragile. It is unstoppable, but only if you nurture it with focus, with discipline, with the refusal to surrender. Every challenge you encounter becomes fuel. Every doubt you face becomes a teacher. Every fear you confront becomes a step closer to the unshakable mind. This is not metaphor. It is practice. It is reality. It is life lived fully, consciously, intentionally. You are no longer a passenger. You are the navigator. You are the commander. You are the storm and the calm at once. Do not look back. Do not waver. The world will attempt to pull you into distraction, into fear, into hesitation. Do not let it. You have crossed thresholds that most will never see. You have faced the illusions that once ruled your life. You have trained your mind in stillness until fear is powerless. Now you must carry that mastery into motion. Every step, every choice, every breath must reinforce the truth. You are in command. You are aware. You are alive. You are unshakable. Imagine the life that follows from this. Every obstacle a lesson. Every moment of chaos a test of clarity. Every fear a stepping stone rather than a chain. Imagine the energy that comes from moving with intention, speaking with precision, acting with power. That life is not hypothetical. It is yours. You have already begun walking its path. You have already shed the limitations that once defined you. Every heartbeat reinforces that power. Every breath amplifies it. Every thought solidifies it. The mind that masters itself commands the world. Rise fully into this. Claim every second. Act decisively. Move with unstoppable focus. The storm will rage. Doubt will attempt to whisper. Fear will try to return. But you are no longer a vessel for them. You are the force that moves through them. The mind that has mastered itself cannot be defeated. The presence you carry cannot be shaken. The clarity you hold cannot be obscured. You are awake. You are alive. You are unshakable. And the life that once seemed impossible is now inevitable. The world around you is relentless. It will test you endlessly, push you to your limits, and tempt you to fall back into the patterns you have already transcended. But you are no longer the person who obeys fear. You have built a mind that watches without reacting, a presence that moves without hesitation, a focus that slices through chaos. Every step you take, every breath you claim, every thought you choose is a declaration. The life that once seemed impossible is now yours to shape. This is not practice. This is not rehearsal. This is the moment you step fully into mastery. Fear will attempt to return. Doubt will whisper in familiar tones, trying to convince you that the calm you have cultivated is fragile. It is not. You have already faced the storms within and emerged unbroken. The energy that once fed hesitation now powers every choice, every movement, every decision. The mind that refuses to bend cannot be broken. The presence that refuses to yield cannot be shaken. You have crossed the threshold into unshakable force, and every second you spend in awareness solidifies it further. You must move with urgency. Every hesitation is a loss. Every distraction is a trap. Every second you give to fear is a second stolen from the life you are capable of living. The Shaolin did not wait for clarity. They forged it in motion, in discipline, in relentless action. You have already walked part of that path. Now the journey accelerates. Every breath must be deliberate. Every thought must be precise. Every action must reinforce the power you have claimed. This is the essence of mastery. The fusion of awareness and action until fear becomes irrelevant and clarity becomes unstoppable. The fire inside you cannot be dimmed. It has been stoked by confrontation, by discipline, by unwavering attention to the mind. Every obstacle you face now is fuel. Every challenge is proof. Every test is an opportunity to expand what you once thought possible. The mind that has learned to remain calm under pressure transforms adversity into advantage. Fear becomes information. Hesitation becomes direction, and chaos becomes rhythm. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of reality. Feel the force of this moment, the clarity in your mind, the calm in your presence, the certainty in your movement. These are not illusions, they are proof of what mastery feels like. The unshakable mind does not wait for life to change, it changes the way life unfolds around it. Every breath, every choice, every deliberate action is a signal that the old self has been left behind. The life shaped by fear, by doubt, by hesitation no longer exists. It cannot exist. The energy within you commands a new reality. This is the edge where most falter, the edge where they retreat to safety, to comfort, to the familiar cage of limitation. But you have glimpsed something greater. You have felt the fire of awareness, the calm of clarity, the unstoppable power of presence. There is no retreat, there is only forward. Every step you take now is a step deeper into mastery, a step that strengthens what cannot be shaken, sharpens what cannot be dulled, and solidifies what cannot be broken. Every second now counts. Every heartbeat is a drum of action. Every breath is reinforcement of control. The world will try to pull you back, but the mind that has mastered itself cannot be swayed. Doubt will appear, but it is powerless before clarity. Fear will attempt to rise, but it cannot pierce the calm you carry. You have walked through shadows and returned unbroken. You have faced storms and stood unmoved. Now every moment is a chance to embed that power even deeper, to move through life with unstoppable precision and relentless intention. You are not waiting for courage, you have become it. You are not seeking clarity, you embody it. You are not hoping for freedom, you are the force that commands it. Every challenge is a stepping stone. Every obstacle is a teacher. Every moment is an opportunity to claim the life that has always been within your reach. Nothing outside can move you, because nothing within can control you. You are awake, you are alive, you are unshakable, and every second you act with presence brings the impossible into reality. The mind you have forged is no longer a prisoner. It is a weapon, a force, a presence that cannot be swayed by chaos, fear, or doubt. You have walked through shadows, faced storms, and emerged unbroken. But the journey demands more. Mastery is not a moment. It is an unrelenting process. Every second you live without full awareness is a second you waste. A second where the life that is waiting for you slips further into possibility without being claimed. You cannot afford hesitation. You cannot afford distraction. Every thought, every breath, every movement must reinforce the power you now hold. Fear will rise, it always does. It will attempt to whisper lies, to shake the calm you have built, to tempt you back into patterns of doubt and retreat. But you are not the same person who obeyed those whispers. You have trained your mind in stillness, sharpened your focus in the face of uncertainty, and embraced the fire that comes from standing firm. Every challenge is no longer an obstacle. It is confirmation, proof that the unshakable mind cannot be touched. Every hesitation you refuse, every doubt you face, every breath you take in awareness strengthens the reality that is now yours to command. The Shaolin understood this truth better than anyone. Strength without discipline is chaos. Courage without clarity is recklessness. Presence without action is meaningless. You have built awareness. You have anchored your mind. Now, like the masters, you must bring that mastery into motion. Every choice must be deliberate, every movement precise, every thought a tool that shapes the life you are capable of living. The world will resist, the storms will rage, and fear will attempt to return, but it cannot penetrate a mind that has trained itself in calm, in focus, in deliberate action. Feel the urgency of this moment. Every second wasted in hesitation, every instant surrendered to fear, every breath not claimed with awareness is a second of life lost. You have glimpsed the power that comes from mastering yourself, from moving through chaos without bending, from standing calm while the world rages. That power is real, it is alive, it is yours, but it demands relentless action. Not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient, now. Every heartbeat, every breath, every deliberate movement must reinforce the unshakable presence you have cultivated. The energy inside you is a fire that cannot be dimmed. It is sharpened by confrontation, fueled by discipline, and strengthened by the refusal to retreat. Every obstacle now becomes fuel. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every moment of pressure becomes an opportunity to expand the boundaries of what you once thought possible. Fear transforms into information. Doubt transforms into direction. Chaos transforms into rhythm. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your reality. The world will continue to test you. It will tempt you to retreat into comfort, to obey old patterns, to surrender to hesitation. But you are awake, you are alert, you are unshakable. Every challenge is a chance to solidify the strength you've already claimed. Every moment is a proving ground where clarity, focus, and presence become more than concepts. They become lived reality. The life built by fear no longer exists. It cannot exist. You are moving through reality as the force that commands it, as the mind that refuses to yield, as the presence that cannot be broken. Do not pause. Do not retreat. Every second matters. Every breath counts. Every deliberate action cements the power you now hold. The storms will rage, doubt will whisper, fear will attempt to rise, but you are beyond its reach. You move with precision, breathe with intention, and act with unstoppable focus. You are no longer waiting for courage. You have become it. You are no longer seeking clarity. You embody it. You are no longer hoping for freedom. You are the force that commands it. Rise fully into this reality. Claim every heartbeat. Own every choice. Move decisively through every challenge. The world will test you endlessly, but the mind that masters itself cannot be shaken. The presence you carry cannot be broken. The clarity you hold cannot be obscured. You are awake. You are alive. You are unshakable. And the life that once seemed impossible is now inevitable because you have become the force that shapes it. You are standing on the edge of everything you once thought impossible. The storms around you rage with the same intensity they always have, but you are no longer moved by them. You have trained your mind, sharpened your focus, and embraced the fire that comes from complete presence. Fear, doubt, hesitation, they are no longer enemies because you have transcended their power. They are signals, guides, reflections of what once controlled you, now transformed into fuel for action, precision, and unstoppable clarity. Every breath you take solidifies that transformation. Every thought you choose reinforces the strength that now defines you. The life you have been capable of living has always existed, but it required one thing: mastery of the mind. And now, having glimpsed the calm in chaos, the power in stillness, the clarity in uncertainty, you cannot turn back. Every second you spend obeying old patterns is a second wasted. Every moment surrendered to fear is a moment stolen from the life that waits for you. The Shaolin walked this path with relentless rigor. They did not pause, they did not question. They moved with focus, with awareness, with unwavering intent. That same path is now yours to claim. The world will push, it will resist. Chaos will attempt to pull you back into hesitation. Doubt will whisper familiar lies, fear will try to return. But you are awake. You have learned to watch without reacting, to act with precision while the storm rages, to breathe with deliberate intention while uncertainty presses. The mind that has mastered itself cannot be broken. The presence that refuses to yield cannot be shaken. You have become the force that dictates the terms of reality rather than obeys them. Feel the urgency. Every second counts. Every heartbeat is a call to action. Every breath carries power. You cannot afford to wait. You cannot afford distraction.